Thanks for joining us. I'm Sam Shocker, and we've all been enjoying the lower summer temperatures, but the dangerous heat is returning with temps near 100 degrees, and that could be bad for the wildfires burning out on the western slope. So let's take a look outside. As of right now, it's beautiful out there. It looks calm, but here's the thing. The winds could be coming back with that warmth. So joining me now, Jaden Knowles with our 9 News Weather Impact team. And Jaden, do those conditions look like that they're going to help or hurt those firefighters out there?
Well, a day like today, Sam, will definitely help the firefighters. But of course, the next couple of days, temperatures are going to start to heat up. Humidity values are going to start to go back down. So those days are not looking good. But today is definitely the day to do it. Overall, though, looking at current temperatures, we're nice and comfortable. The low 70s, 74 degrees right here at 9 News in our backyard. And overall, I mean, I forgot that it was summertime because temperatures have felt so amazing the last couple of days. Current temperatures across the rest of the state, upper 70s, low 80s for the eastern plains, 70s and 60s in the high country, then the mid 80s for the western slope. Finally, not the 90s right now. Live radar, we're not seeing much. We can see we're seeing the dry conditions, and I really don't have a lot of rain in my forecast. There's a slight chance for a gusty shower or two later on this afternoon, but overall, not a whole lot of rain. Here's your high for this afternoon, 88 degrees. Once again, lots of sunshine. And here's your weather question. Yeah, we can answer that. I'll be picking 5 winners, and here's my email address. Which animal can actually predict a coming storm better than some weather instruments? Is it a shark, lizard, or is it a frog? Of course, we'll answer that question for you at the end of the show. Sam?
All right, I'm going to think about that. Thank you. Well, the latest and third wildfire burning in Rio Blanco County, the Crosho fire, is about 100 acres in size. It broke out yesterday near the lake there, which is in the far eastern part of the county. Campers had to be evacuated, but there's little information available. We will keep track of that. The Lee Fire, now the 5th largest wildfire in state history, is nearly 117,000 acres in size. 6% of it is contained, but it grew several thousand acres between Sunday night and last night. It is spreading the most to the south, closer and closer to Garfield County. Then we got the Oak Fire. That started burning Sunday near Pagosa Springs, and it will get some help thanks to FEMA. The agency okayed more federal funds to help with the firefighting costs. Evacuations were ordered for neighborhoods west of Pagosa Springs, and Governor Polis declared a disaster emergency, which is freeing up the National Guard to help support those firefighters. So far, officials report it's about 70 acres and 14% contained. A bird hit power lines and sparked a vegetation fire near Parker this morning. South Metro fire crews were able to contain the fire on Cottontail Lane between Ponderosa Drive and Main Street to 1 acre. One outbuilding was threatened, but the fire did not reach it, and thankfully no one was hurt. And there's still a big question in Lakewood. What led to the death of Jack Scruton? The coroner's autopsy couldn't make a determination, and last night people packed into the Lakewood City Council meeting demanding an independent investigation.
Oversight for Jax now! Long live Jax! Long live Jax!
The transgender hairstylist was found dead in June, weeks after she was last seen in April. An autopsy report says she either fell, jumped, or was pushed out of a second-story window, but that is all. Advocates say the police investigation has been slow and flawed. They point to inconclusive coroner's report and the fact that it took nearly 2 months to find her body.
Instead of finding solace in her memories, my days are full of media calls, autopsies, research, managing rumors, coordinating with the police, and advocacy. No one should have this pain. No mother should have to fight in the midst of heartbreak. We need independent oversight now. The key word here is independent.
Some city council members responded to the comments saying they are, quote, working on items and expect these advocates to keep showing up to future council meetings. Another said they were frustrated that government moves slowly, but still the city council did not take any definitive action last night. 9 News Investigates found that some of those documents stored in the crawl space of a now retired Aurora police detective's home were from the 2006 murder of an Aurora police officer. Officer Michael Thomas was in plain clothes and driving in his own car when a gunman killed him at a stoplight nearly 20 years ago. An Adams County jury convicted Brian Washington of the crime and sentenced him to 80 years in state prison, where he remains today. Now he hopes to get back into a courtroom with a pending appeal. Our 9 News legal analyst Scott Robinson says the revelation that a detective in the case brought documents back to his home could come into play.
If the lawyer handling the appeal wants to do so, they can ask the Court of Appeals to send the case back down to the trial court to determine whether there is new information that might help their client.
And Robinson says it will only matter to the case if documents taken home with the detective were withheld from the defense. It could take months to go through all the casework. The first day back to school is fast approaching for the largest school district in the state. But while Denver Public Schools is excited to welcome back students, there's also some uncertainty. Superintendent Dr. Marrero is concerned about declining enrollment and ICE raids happening near schools. Marrero says he's relieved the federal government released the $10 million held back from DPS and other districts around the U.S., but he worries about what will happen next year if it goes away. He says it could have a big impact on their budget and could mean tough choices like closing schools.
The reality is that if we are going to move forward without $10 to $14 million, which is around the amount that we would lose, again, not this year, next year and beyond, then obviously we have to make some significant shifts on how we operate as a school district.
Marrero says despite all of the uncertainty, feedback from new teachers and employees show a record high in terms of excitement for the new school year. Folsom Street in Boulder, near the CU campus, could soon see several safety improvements between Pine Street and Colorado Avenue. Boulder City Council just approved the project's design. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch shows us what we can expect to see.
Back in January, the city asked for the public's feedback on what they wanted to see on Folsom Street. They say that people wanted reduced vehicle speeds, safer crossings, and more green spaces. In addition to those improvements, Folsom Street could soon get wider sidewalks and separate lanes for pedestrians and cyclists. Preliminary city data shows that from January 2015 to August of this year, there have been 600 crashes between Pine Street and Colorado Avenue. Nearly 500 of those crashes involve drivers. Community Cycles, a Boulder cycling nonprofit and advocacy group, says this project will create a more connected and comfortable corridor for everyone.
The engineers looked at each and every block and said, what are the land uses on this block? What do we need to protect? What can get better? How can we move everyone through efficiently and safely, not just bikes and peds, but also cars and transit?
City council members say that as the project moves forward, they need to keep in mind maintenance funding as well as events like the Boulder. They say that they will look to additional grant funding as the project moves to its final design and construction. From Boulder, Janelle Finch, 9 News.